there. I want to go over here.
We are live.
Click.
Facebook Live, YouTube Live, waiting for Radio Live.
Yeah, we are. We're waiting.
Woo! Let's see where if I got live in here. Oh, I do. Oh, you've got the new in picture thing. That's pretty cool. Look at you guys upgrading.
And you know, when you hear that music, it's time for My LoSo Lifestyle with Mary Schepp. Mary, it's been a couple of weeks because we took a little holiday break there for Thanksgiving last week, Thursday. So why don't you recap the 2 weeks ago real quick, and then let everybody know where we are for today.
So a couple weeks ago, what did we talk about a couple weeks ago? I didn't even write it down. I don't know where I'm at. What am I doing? So I didn't really. We
you don't have to do the
shows.
recap. I threw that at you,
right?
Because I'm so used to doing
that.
So,
it's funny because not doing this for a week, I was like, what am I? I kept feeling like I'm forgetting something because it was Thanksgiving. But all day long, I'm going,
what am I supposed to be doing? I'm supposed to be doing something.
I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And this is what I was supposed to be doing. So it was pretty funny that, all day while I'm cooking Thanksgiving dinner, which was fantastic, by the way. We did, actually, I got 2 turkeys, one from our local butcher here in Crystal Lake. And then I found another butcher out in Huntley that I still got to go get it from because I'm going to make turkey pot pies.
That sounds good.
They are fantastic. And I can, you can freeze them because you can buy the little individual pie tin things. So I can literally make my own TV dinner turkey pot pies and have it, for the next few months. It's fantastic.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, we had a great turkey day. And it was nice to have a couple days of not worrying about it. We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything fantastic. It was just me and my husband, no stress, no big parties, nothing.
No, nothing.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah,
that's
it was
good.
absolutely fantastic. I was going to say that in making my notes this morning and reviewing everything,
yeah,
we're 11 shows in.
We are. You're 11 shows. And did you know that only 11 shows in, and one of the newest still on 21.6 the net, that you're actually the number 3?
Yay! Look at me go.
You hold. Yeah, you're.
Do I get a trophy? Can I have a trophy? A little plaque?
You take a foam ball of your choice.
A foam microphone ball.
You can have your very. You have reached the status where you can pick your very, very own pop blocker. There, your very own little pop burster.
That's funny.
So yeah.
So this week I kind of, we're straying a little bit away from food because living a LoSo lifestyle isn't just about food.
No, it's not.
About a lot more than that. It literally is a lifestyle. And that being said, so there's a million reasons you can be low sodium. And that's what I wanted to talk about is invisible diseases or invisible illnesses. There's so many. The heart conditions, GI conditions like with my liver disease, fibromyalgia, diabetes, lupus, arthritis, depression, anxiety, irritable bowel syndrome, endometriosis, even people who have dietary restrictions like celiac sprue. You think like, oh, you can't have gluten. Well, someone who actually has celiac sprue, it's more than just not being able to have gluten. Your whole entire immune system literally attacks you when you eat gluten. It's not just I get an upset tummy because I ate something I shouldn't have eaten. It's bad.
Wow.
And it can be extremely life-threatening. Same with, Crohn's disease or any of those things. When you screw up or you're misinformed and you think, I can have a cheat day or I can do this. And you just say, okay, I'm going to fight through the pain today and have spaghetti, even though I'm not supposed to have gluten. It actually reacts with the cilia in your gut and can cause massive problems. And you might have to have those bits that are ruined removed. Or with me, with my liver, if I take it too far or do something that I'm not supposed to do, I could damage what's left of my liver and need a new one, which trust me, you do not want an organ transplant of any kind if you can possibly avoid it.
What wasn't on my to-do list.
Yeah, no, it's, what's funny is, the best of intentions, but a lot of people, I was really shocked at how many people said, well, can't you just get a liver transplant when my liver went bad? Like, well, you can drink again, you can eat whatever you want again. Can't you just get a liver transplant?
Well, it's because so many people just think you can run on down to the liver store
Yeah,
and just
aisle
pick
5
one
at
up.
Walgreens.
Yeah, aisle 5 Walgreens. They're there. You get everything else there.
Right.
You just get one, and they'll toss it in a cooler for
Right.
you, and you head right on over to the body shop, and they'll just slap it in.
Yeah.
They'll put you up on a rack for an hour, and you're good to go.
Wouldn't that be fantastic? I think everybody would be in line for a new liver if that was the case.
Or new whatever.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
New heart, new kidneys, new spleen, new whatever. Yeah, it's but that's the thing, is so many of these invisible illnesses I have 2 of them. Everybody on the show obviously knows about my cirrhosis. I have, advanced cirrhosis of the liver, and food has essentially literally saved my life. I haven't made any qualms about it through this entire show that it's not easy. I'm not telling anybody it is easy. But my other one is, they're calling it idiopathic transverse myelitis. So I have a lesion on my spine. It is what it is. It happened once. My immune system decided to attack my spine. But it's an invisible illness. Nobody knows what I go through on a daily basis. And I don't care to tell them. There's plenty of people that do know, like my friends know, and people I work with know. But it's funny when you're walking somewhere, and I was in Jewel the other day, and some random guy says, "Oh, what'd you do to your leg?" And I turn around thinking like it's going to be you or someone that I know. And because I didn't realize that I had more of a limp than I did that day than any other day. But literally and it's some guy like, "Oh, did you stub your toe?" And he's just being nice and whatever. People are just weird. But
Yeah, they are.
I was like,
why are you walking that way?
I'm not going to get into a 2-hour conversation with someone about the fact that my immune system decided to eat a hole in my spine. So I just looked at him like, "Oh yeah, I stubbed my toe this morning," and left it at that. Like I really don't care to have this conversation right now. But it's funny that how you choose to perceive yourself in turn relates to how others perceive you. Mm-hmm. So if I spend all my time focusing on what I have, then everybody else is going to do the same thing. So it's not that I don't talk about it, or I don't discuss it with people, or I don't want to, or if anybody asks me a question, I don't have problems sharing it. But
no, you don't. And I haven't known you that long, but it's the way that you've presented yourself. You come in, you do the show, we clip on the board, and we go, and you and I've got to talk, and we've had a few conversations off the air. But I don't think of you as a person with this thing. Mm-hmm. You're just Mary,
right?
And you don't walk in to the studio. You don't know, from what I've got to know you, you don't walk in making that the focus of your life. Like, hey, we're doing this show about my LoSo lifestyle because you're living it. You know what it is. You know what it's like, and other people are living that too. But it's not you.
Right. It's not the definition of who I am.
Right.
And that's the thing, is it's a fine line between sharing your story and expecting others to care for you. And it's funny because anybody that has any kind of invisible illness, always the number one thing you hear is, "You don't look sick. You look great. Oh, I would have never known. Like, you look fantastic. What are you doing? You must be fixed. You must be cured. What did you do? You're so much better now."
Yeah, like like you don't own a mirror.
Right.
You know how you look.
Right. Right. And adversely, on the days that you're having a bad day, holy crap, when people they feel like they have this free reign to be like, "Wow, you look like shit today. Are you doing okay?" Like, screw you.
And that's just everybody. It's just everybody. "Oh man, you do not look good. Did you?" "Oh, thank you. Thank you." No, I stood in front of the bathroom mirror before I left the house. Some people you wonder.
Oh man.
But that's just based on, well,
Oh yeah, some people look in them. You're like, "Did you even look in a mirror this morning before you went outside of the house?" But that's the thing, is it's funny, the difference between people and what they feel they have free reign to say to you. And it's the "you don't look sick" usually comes straight from ignorance. It's And I mean, until you educate someone or unless they know, you can't let that get under your skin.
No.
Because that I must hear that at least once a day. You know, you don't look sick, you don't look this, you don't look that. And
Well, and you'll probably hear that from like employers or supervisors or bosses in the work setting almost more than anything else.
right.
Because if you're, if someone's having a really, really bad day, and they're like, man, I got to go. Why? You look fine.
Right.
What's your issue? And it doesn't matter what the issue is. Well, now I'm about to go on a rant.
Yeah.
This is my LoSo lifestyle, not Pete rants
But it is
about
part of
people
it.
who are,
It's true.
but
it's part of
true,
it.
And if someone comes to you and says, look, I gotta go, they gotta go. They're not
Right.
gonna be productive from that moment on.
Right.
So why have them around that
Right.
day, and why spend the money on them, especially if they're an hourly employee?
Oh, exactly. And I can't tell you how many times I've had that conversation with my crew where whether it's a matter of depression, illness, physical ailment, something going on with a family member, you find out that a family member had a car accident, and I don't care if they're 6 states away, just the fact that you're staring off into space worried about how they're doing, you're useless to me. So you either find a way to suck it up and deal with it or go home. And I don't mean that in a shitty way. And unfortunately, I've said that more times than I can count. And I flat out tell them, like, I don't mean to be the asshole. I'm not going to pay you to be here
And do nothing.
to stare at the wall and have a woe is me pity party. Go home, make yourself a cup of coffee or a hot chocolate, put some comfy pants on, and have your pity party where you should have a pity party. And it is that way, because on the flip side of that is when you tell somebody that you have what you have, initially that they're almost always very empathetic, very sympathetic, very, what can we do? This, that, and the other. And holy crap, that must suck. And this, so on and so forth. But as time goes by, even the best of intentions, my husband, for instance, he knows full well what's going on with me. He's seen my worst days. He's seen my best days. He was there to help me go to the bathroom when I first found out I had an issue with my spine. But at the same time, we've got 20 some years of history. So he can't help but, have to stop himself before poking at me or, being funny. It's like you forget that I have these issues. It's not front of mind. And when you look normal, or what is considered normal, it's very easy for people to forget. And you can't kind of take that to heart when someone, 6 months after you've told them that you have something going on, that, they've forgotten that you're still in that place. You have to remind them, and just do it in a nice way. Don't be a dick. I'm the queen of, speaking of don't be a dick. So I got a new coffee mug, side note, tangent. It's hard to see on the little thing, but if you can see it,
you can hold it up there, or if you want me to hold it
I was
up,
gonna say, I can't get up
keep
there.
talking. Your show.
So the little Morton Salt lady, you can get this coffee mug. It's fantastic. It says, "Don't be a salty bitch," for you. So on the radio, it's the little Morton Salt lady with the umbrella in the rain. It's my favorite coffee mug. I've seen it. It's come around before. I actually have a T-shirt that says the same thing. Oh, sure. And there's a Facebook group called I Love Coffee. And one of the admins of the group also has unlawfulthreads.com, Tim Lawler. And this is where I ordered my coffee mug from. So I got to give him a shout out because it's absolutely fantastic. But I love it. And I was actually joking with Peter today that I should change my show from my LoSo lifestyle to Don't Be a Salty Bitch, because it's just it's just absolutely hysterical to me. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, that's a title that might sell.
I know, right?
Maybe we should have actually just titled the show that.
Right.
And but no, it's actually good.
Yeah, it's
it
fantastic.
Fits you well.
Right.
So, but not that you are. I'm saying
I can be.
Well, luckily I've never experienced that. So.
Right. But yeah, no, it's funny because speaking of don't be a salty bitch, it's the same with your invisible illnesses. You gotta be aware of where other people are coming from. But there's so many times that you want to be normal, but then at the same time, there's so many times where you want to throw a big boohoo pity party. And mine are few and far between, mostly because it's just my personality. But I will tell you right now that the pity parties get you nothing. And I always picture like a 4-year-old child throwing a fit on the floor. They're not throwing a fit because in their mind, and kids are smart. They're not throwing a fit because they think it's going to fix the situation. They're throwing a fit to see what they can get. And it's the same as an adult. If you're going to throw a pity party, you're doing it to see who is going to come to you and say, "Oh my gosh, it's going to be okay." It's not going to freaking be okay. It's not.
No.
It's only going to be okay if you make it okay.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
the world isn't going to dump a big pile of fixed stuff for you.
Yeah.
It's gonna you got to make it okay
the
yourself.
Stuff you need.
Yeah.
No, but you're right. And there are places that I go and people that I see, and I know that there are certain people that you walk in, the first words out of their mouth are going to be about just something to do with their health that is a tragedy, or it's always that, and it is that they're looking for you to go, "Oh gee, that's so,"
right.
They're looking for that that pat on the head or whatever it might be. And I, I generally don't go there. And like, "Oh, you're having a bad day? Yeah, all right. I'm actually doing pretty good."
Yeah. Right.
So you can come over here and join my happy day, or just keep. I don't join pity parties very well. Now, that's not to say I don't have them,
right?
Because certainly I do. Everybody does, and it's just about sometimes those emotions build and build and build, and I'm not really much of an emotional kind of guy. I don't do.
See, I didn't. It's funny. I didn't
that much. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
With both things that I have affect my hormones, and it sucks because I have literally found myself on the side of the road bawling my eyes out over like an Oreo commercial or something. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, I'm literally sitting on the side of the road, and now I'm pissed because I'm having a pity party on the side of the road as cars are driving by me. So now I'm overthinking it, going, what the hell is wrong with me? And where did this come from? Or, we'll be watching some, and it's not that I don't cry or I'm not emotional. It's just, it's never been my style. And now, because my hormones are so easily fluctuated based on what my liver's doing.
Yeah.
Holy crap, if I'm not sitting there and my husband looks at me, I'm like tearing up on a TV show or something. Like, the hell? I really don't care what happens to Sheldon on this show. It's just so stupid.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's like you kind of roll with the punches, but those pity parties, you kind of gotta limit your pity parties. Life sucks. It just sucks. I mean, work sucks. Marriage sucks, friends suck, people are stupid, all of these different things. And like I said, life isn't going to drop a big bowl of fix it for you. You got to find it and fix it yourself. And it's all about your choices and your perspectives. So when you have a pity party, all it does is raise your stress levels and raise the stress hormones in your body, raise the chemicals in your body, and it makes you sicker. And it just attracts that to you. If you're the depressed woe is me, it attracts depressed woe is me to you.
Oh, misery loves company.
Yes.
That's a saying for a reason.
And that's where it's funny, because when I was diagnosed with my liver disease, and I thought about, and everybody said, find your support groups. There's Facebook support groups. There's all these things. And I was like, I don't really know. And it was a while before it was kind of public knowledge that this was what was going on with me. Mostly because I didn't want that to be the conversation, because everybody, oh my God, that's so horrible. Well, yeah, it is, but get over it. You feeling bad for me is not going to fix it. Me feeling bad for myself isn't going to fix it. So it wasn't until my spinal thing, the lesion on my spine, that I said, okay, this is terrifying. I woke up half paralyzed one day after going to the bathroom at 2:00 in the morning. It was literally terrifying. So I did. I found a couple support groups, and at first I was like, it's fantastic. There's 5,000 people who have this rare thing that are like me. And after about 2 days of this pity party of this sucks and that sucks, and oh my God, my life is over, and I'm like, screw this. Like, holy crap, people are never going to heal if all you ever do is sit there and stuff your face full of bonbons, cry in the woe is me river. Like, it just...
I mean, bonbons are good, but...
Well, this is true. They might help a little bit, but... The sugar is actually the devil. We just got this.
Yeah, we just had that. Well, not on the air, but we had that conversation. So,
but yeah, I mean and that's the thing is, I have these pity parties. I have these moments when you're going through and you can't help it. Some days where your pain level is just so high, and you have so many people around you that say the dumbest things without even knowing it. So when people make comments about, having children, and I can't, I mean, physically I'm capable, but it would put too much of a strain on my liver and the risk is too high. So it's something that my husband and I have decided not to do.
right.
But when people talk about those things, and there are some people who get seriously offended, and that's great. It's your thing. Everybody reacts to things differently. The same with my liver. They're like, oh, it's just one day, you can cheat today, or it's just this, or it's just that. And people say stupid stuff all the time. And when you go through an entire day of pain and discomfort and stupid people,
Well,
mean,
it's that stupid. It's that final ingredient.
It really is.
Because that's just, and that often can just be
right.
the icing on the cake, no matter what kind of day you're having. And I'm saying this in a facetious way, because icing is also quite good. But, that stupid
right.
is what can just take what otherwise might be okay, you can deal with the day.
Right.
No matter what's going on, you could probably deal with it. But then you get that little slice of stupid that is just too much. Because stupid never tastes good.
No.
Unless it's funny.
Well, even then, it's
it's kind of,
Yeah. But there's those moments where, you can't help but at the end of the day, sit there and go, like, seriously, what the hell? And you have your pity party, but how you react to it, how you learn from it, and what you get out of it at the end. And I know it's cliche to say, like, it's not how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get up. There's so much truth to that. If you fall down and you stay in that pity party land and you just cry about it all the time, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And it's your choices that you make and how it affects you. And it's not easy. I'm not saying that, like, oh yeah, you can just say these words that come out of my mouth and all of a sudden you can go home and flip a switch. Everybody's thought process is different. Everybody's chemical balance and the way that they process things in their brain is different, and your perspective is different. Mm-hmm. But when you start making the conscious effort to say, holy crap, I've been crying about this for an hour, I need to suck it up and figure out something better. Find the good in things, find the things that are worth it for you. Like with my spine, as soon as I started researching things and find out that the majority of people with this are paralyzed within 72 hours. At the first part, it was terrifying and I was mortified. But then I went, okay, I'm going to choose to see the flip side of that and go, holy crap, why am I not the one that's paralyzed? So I'm going to look at the bright side and say, hey, I'm walking around every day.
Yeah.
They also told me that I'd be on medication the rest of my life. I'd probably never work again. And I'd most likely need a liver transplant by the time I was 40. Well, I just turned 41 a month ago and I'm on no medications. And I know that doesn't work for everybody in every situation.
Was your birthday last month?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm not a big birthday person.
Okay. All right. Then we'll let it go.
Yeah. It's another day. I'm a Winnie the Pooh person. Happy on birthday. Yeah.
All right.
Or Mad Hatter. I'm sorry. That was
Mad Hatter.
Mad Hatter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but on that note though, okay. So you're 41, you already beat what they were telling you because you decided, yeah, it's not going to be what I'm going to do.
Right. And well, that's how look at cancer survivors. How many times there was someone we went to school with back in high school. And at the same time, I had two friends. One, I believe it was her aunt. And then one friend, it was his dad. They both were diagnosed with cancer. And I know that they're the same with liver disease and everything else. There's 8 million different factors and different kinds of cancer and disease and whatever. But the aunt took the perspective of, all right, that sucks. What's next? What do we do? What's the plan? What's the game plan? What's the option? What are we going to do? And the dad took the aspect of, what is my family going to do? They're going to be broke. They're going to be without a father. I'm going to die. This is going to be painful. And he was gone in 3 months. And the aunt is still with us. And I know that there's underlying factors that change that, but it's something that's seen time and time and time again, where it's the perspective that you take on what's going on. Are you the pity party that's going to let it drown you in your own tears, or are you going to one that's going to build the boat and sail across and take the vacation?
Yeah.
So it's all of those different things, but it's always interesting to see different people's perspectives on when they find out you're sick. Yeah, the whole "you don't look sick," and they, holy crap, you had. I thought liver disease was a big deal. Well, I mean,
Well,
thanks for
yeah.
telling me I look great, but it kind of is a big deal.
It kind of is a big deal, but you know,
Yeah.
you don't. That doesn't,
Yeah.
again, that doesn't mean you have to walk around looking absolutely miserable
Right.
all the
I'm
time.
not gonna be yellow the
There's
rest of my life.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you know, oh, what a lovely shade of jaundice
I
you
know,
are
right?
today. You match the little pop filter there
Right.
perfectly.
Right.
So.
Exactly. But that's the other thing that is outside of the "you don't look sick." Oh, hey, Phil. Hey, Dad. Oh, I'm not even reading comments. Dad says, when somebody asks me how I'm doing, I say better than I deserve and watch their face. I like that one. It's so much better than 6 feet above ground. I like that one.
So yeah, we got Hal, which is your dad,
Yep.
right? Yep, yeah. And then we got Phil, and we had Gary
From
here too. So yeah,
Singapore.
hey Gary, how you doing? It's been a little bit. So Phil, good morning. How you doing? Hope you're doing great.
So other than the "you don't look sick," the other one that everyone, and I hate to say it, I'm guilty of this one, is "you should try this." "Oh, your back hurts, you should try this," or "you need to eat less sugar, you should try this," or "you need to eat less salt, you should try this diet," or "this medical treatment," or "this voodoo witch doctor around the corner will smear cow poop on your face and you'll be cured." Everybody has a "you should try this." And I have a friend of mine that gets migraines. And I'm guilty of that. I've told her probably a million times, like, "You should try acupuncture," because I love acupuncture. It's what keeps me upright and walking. My acupuncturist is phenomenal. He knows my history. He researches it. He's a fantastic doctor. And it really does. It significantly improves my quality of life. But it doesn't work for her. It's just and that's what's funny is when people do the whole "you should try this."
Mm-hmm.
You think that I've been living with liver disease since 2015 and I haven't researched just about every freaking possible thing? Like, if you live with migraines, you don't think that she's been to every doctor, every specialist, tried every witch doctor voodoo cream that she could find to try and stop her migraines? And here I am thinking I know the freaking miracle cure. So I'm guilty of it, but it's something I try very hard to make a conscious effort when someone says something that's going on with them, is to not do the "oh my gosh, you should try this, you should do that, you should."
Yeah. And Phil says his is blackberry brandy,
Ooh,
which may just be something to enjoy. So
Yes.
here, you should try this. It might be pretty
Right?
tasty.
So, I would love to try blackberry brandy. My husband and we love scotch. I should say I loved scotch. Obviously, with liver disease,
Past tense.
yeah, that's past tense. I can't. And my father-in-law makes a fantastic old fashioned, so I do enjoy my brandy old fashions. However, those are no longer in the cards for me. So it's
yeah.
However, I have found that if you take soda water and orange juice, it tastes like a mimosa.
Huh.
So it's like a nice little morning pick-me-up, and it's actually good for you because it's just carbonated water and orange juice.
Huh.
But it does. The bitterness of the soda water and the orange juice, it makes it taste like a mimosa.
Huh.
So it's kind of nice.
Oh, I've never actually had a mimosa, so I wouldn't know.
Right. Well, you're not a big drinker to begin with either.
No, I'm not. I really am not. I'm not all that fond of. I do like I like the scotch and the whiskey and that stuff, but it's extremely rare that I'll have one.
Right.
I don't have a penchant for it.
Yeah,
but, So,
Yeah,
but
it was a tasty thing for me.
we are coming up right on the bottom of
Oh
the
yeah.
hour here.
Holy
So we
cow.
do want to mention a couple of folks that help us do what we do here at 216thenet, 216thenet.com. And speaking of 216thenet.com, go check out our website. It's had a massive facelift. In fact, you'll see Mary front and center when you go there right now. Because of the guys over at Xtech LLC, xtek.repair. They're right over here in Crystal Lake, Illinois, 815-516-8075. Xtech provides device repair and service plans, business servers, and single computer support, web design, and SEO. They also specialize in custom gaming PC builds for all you gamers out there. Contact Justin and George for IT done right the first time. Xtech LLC, 815-516-8075, xtek.repair. And then, of course, you have the awesome folks over at Frequency R Us Products, 847-704-0355, frequencyrus.com. Natural resonance frequency jewelry. It's jewelry that acts as a natural pain reliever, improves balance, strength, and energy. It's jewelry with a purpose, manufactured at the natural resonance frequency of the earth. Go check it out, frequencyrus.com, 847-704-0355. And let's just go ahead and get back to the show here, Mary.
So, one of the big things about it's kind of twofold. For those of you that don't have any illnesses, and for those that have them, understanding people's intentions is a huge part. When you take 2 seconds to take a step back and try and understand why someone's doing so. When someone tells me like, "Oh, can't you just get a liver transplant?" It's not, I mean, common sense is
It's not
it's an
that common.
accumulation of your experiences from your perspective. So if you don't have a knowledge or an experience, your perspective is going to be different than mine. I have a higher medical knowledge just because, my sister is a fabulous nurse, and my husband, between his car accident and different things and just all these different things in my life, I just know a lot about medical fields. So to me, it's common sense that you can't just swap out your liver for another liver. But somebody else with the advancements in medical science, I can understand where they would be like, why can't you just get another one? They do stuff like this all the time. And
there's shows about it every week.
Right. So it's not that, right. It's not that their intentions are bad or anything of that nature. It's just that their perspective is different and their knowledge base is less. But, so for instance, we were briefly discussing this before the show. Where I work, we do a lot of charitable and community things and so on and so forth. And very soon here, we're going to be cooking for a local Ronald McDonald House. Mm-hmm. And my perspective is somebody who has been the wife of someone who is working very hard to come home from the hospital, who spent, my husband was 22 days in the hospital after his car accident. And they were telling us in the beginning it would be 6 months. So being the spouse that had to go and visit her husband and do these things. And then on the flip side with my illnesses, being the person that's in the hospital bed with my spouse coming to me, I have a little bit different perspective about cooking for people at the Ronald McDonald House. Mm. So it's hard to sit and listen to everybody deciding what they're going to cook for these people. And the irony is that the foods that they chose to cook are foods that I can't eat. So I have to bring my own food to go cook for other people, because it's just the irony. But their perspective, I had to take a step back and not be that asshole, because their friends are very good-hearted. Sure. And they mean well. So it's not that they're not thinking of me. They're not supposed to be thinking of me.
No,
it's not my pedestal to stand on. It's not my fight to fight. And you just kind of have to step back and go, the perspective of 15 people coming together to cook for someone else is great. Mm-hmm. And then when I'm there, hopefully I can educate everybody a little bit more on maybe the perspective of someone who's coming to a Ronald McDonald House. But that being said, when you understand people's intentions versus being that What does everybody always call? Forgive me for all the Karens out in the world, but everybody always calls them a Karen. The Karen, don't be Karen.
Oh,
You know,
Karen.
the
Yeah.
haircut with the
Yeah.
bitchy attitude. You don't want to be, because you don't. When you step back and think about their perspective, and they do intend to do things well and mean well, then it gives you an opportunity to educate people. Now, that being said, there are some people that are just assholes in the world. They just flat out think it's not a big deal. It's no big deal if you should eat salt today, or it pops up in our group all the time where family members, especially around the holidays, there was tons of people going, "What do you do?" There was one where the husband and wife were invited to a dinner, and the people they were invited to, the spouse, the wife kept saying, like, "It's not that big of a deal. We'll cook whatever we want, and you can splurge for a day." And she's going, I don't want to go because the person's choosing to think that I'm really not that sick and I'm just a drama queen. Some people are just going to be assholes. You kind of got to take the toxicity out of your life, regardless of who it is.
Yeah.
And I've discovered that it's not as hard as people think it is. Like, you think it's so hard to say, okay, I'm going to get rid of the toxic people in my life, and I can't because they're family, or I can't because it's a 20-year friendship, or this, that, or the other. Toxic,
but is it really
toxic.
If it's a 20-year, is it really a
Right.
friendship? If it's toxic, is it really? And I get what you're saying, because it is hard to let go of some things and some people in relationships, especially when you feel like you've invested time or whatever that might be. So I get that. And family's tough too, but at the same time, I guess I'm a little bit different than some people, because I have no problem. My wife says I was not born with that shame gene. I didn't get it. So
That's
it doesn't
funny.
bother me at all to say, you're, whatever. And in fact, at my in-laws, I've been carving the turkey for years. I don't really like doing it. And my mother-in-law every year, okay, come carve the turkey. I'm like, all right. I always feel awkward because it's at their house. And to me, that's, my father, it's his house, maybe, but it turns out he doesn't like carving it either. So my wife finally, I'm like, what do I got to say to not carve the turkey this year? Because I really don't want to do it. She's like, oh, don't worry about it.
Got
I'll take
arthritis
care
in
of
your
it.
hands.
But so she, yeah, I have the arthritis. So she said something to her, and her mom's like, well, I'm glad you said something, because I didn't know. I thought maybe you liked doing it, and, you wanted to do that because, evidently you're good at it. But I'm like, no, I know how. Just knowing how to do something doesn't mean you like doing something.
Oh, and it's funny because and I do, I no qualms about it. I love food. I love everything about food, but everybody assumes that any topic that comes up about food, and it's, everybody looks at me like, well, okay, thanks. Sure. I'll, same with carving the turkey. Well, Mary must know how to do it. Well, I didn't feel like getting elbow deep into a turkey today, but sure. Why not? I'll do that. Let's go. Sure. Okay. But again, same with that, everybody, the best of intentions. And until you educate someone, and it's like getting pissed off at someone that invites you to a shrimp buffet and you didn't tell them you're allergic to shrimp.
Right.
It's not their fault. Like, hey, I brought you a $50 gift certificate to this, sushi place because it's fantastic and you love food and I thought you'd like it. And you're like, well, you're a dick because you didn't know I'm allergic to fish. Well, it's kind of your fault for not educating people on, and you don't have to be the, this is my sad sack story of woe is me. You can just matter of fact, hey, I have this, I can't eat salt. Because that's the other thing is, for someone like me who's not fat, how many times people, when we would go somewhere and I'd get a salad because it was the easiest thing I could do. Is a plain no dressing salad, and people, you need to eat a burger, you need to eat more, you're too skinny.
Yeah, you look like you need a sandwich.
Right.
Let me get you some extra mayo too.
Right. You invited me to a bar where I can't eat anything.
Or conversely, I've over the past several years, I've been a very, very large guy. Wasn't always, but I've been a very, very large guy. And it's amazing how many people are you really want that
you should try.
Extra. Yeah. Oh, and I get oh my gosh. Oh, you don't think? And just like I know what works for me, and I've actually dropped some weight this year. But you know what? I'll do it when I want to do it.
Right.
And if I want to put an Oreo in my mouth, I'm a grown ass man.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
put an Oreo in my mouth and I'm going to like it a lot.
Same. Oh, yeah. See, we always go back to Oreos because, body by Oreo. I love
Well,
Oreos. It's
I
like
do
the Oreo
too.
diet.
They're freaking good.
Oh, see, I'm not
That
a
and
big Twinkie
Twinkies.
fan.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Twinkie fan.
No, but I am.
You want to know what's funny is this is probably the first show that he's actually watching. It would be hilarious. That would be the Murphy's Law of it. Almost if anybody from McHenry's listening, they would most likely know who Mr. Iserman is. He's a teacher from Parkland and he loves Twinkies. He's always loved Twinkies. And I was out of my store for a few weeks this spring with my spine stuff and he didn't see me. He came to my store like 3 different times. He didn't see me. So he brought me Twinkies. Whether I could eat them or not, and I can't, but the intention was there. And when I came back and one of my crew was like, so some old dude, super happy, wished you well, said it's none of his business what's going on, and handed me a box of Twinkies and said, I hope you get them when you get back. And I lit up like a Christmas tree. I'm like, that's fantastic. That just made my day. And they're like, I suppose you know who that is? Yeah, I know who it is. It's Mr. Eiserman. He was my 8th grade math teacher. And they're like, okay, that's not creepy at all. Like, out of context, you could go, okay, I can understand. But any of us who grew up, they just named a street after him, as a matter of fact, in town. Anybody who grew up here and went to Parkland knew that, he's been a teacher in this area for decades. He taught my sisters, my husband, me, and generations after that. And the fact that he remembers it, he'll come into my store.
That's amazing.
Oh, how's your sister Trina? Like, how the hell? I have one 8th grade teacher to remember. And he remembers all of us. All of us.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Jim, hello. How you
Jim.
doing there?
My favorite, Jim Anderson. If you ever need anything cast iron, he's your guy to go to.
Yeah. So
Oreo is popular over. Oh, really? Oreos are popular in Singapore?
Wow.
Yeah. See the guy who's inconsiderate and disrespectful and leaves his phone on during our show.
Yeah. Even whilst I'm
that is not politically correct. That's very offensive.
Actually,
you hurt my feelings, Kent.
Goodness.
Yeah.
My apologies. I had been my phone out to host a watch party for your show here.
See, now here's
so there's the watch party going. So you talk about good intentions,
right?
And I forgot to turn the ringer off. I'm sorry.
So it's funny that as I'm giving Kent crap for hurting my feelings, you don't know how people feel, and I am a true advocate of that. You just don't, and it's not that I haven't been guilty of at least trying, but you really don't know what people are going through. The best thing that you could possibly do is ask how they are and ask if there's anything that you can do. The chances are the answer is going to be nothing. And all you can do is be there and let them know that you're there. But I've had so many people around that, whether it's illness or disease or losing someone, my husband, his sister passed away when he was young. I couldn't imagine what his parents went through. And the perspective is different between what my husband went through and what his parents went through.
Sure.
And then a very good friend of mine lost her son. And it's like, you can't tell somebody. It's the same with disease. I got a hole in my spine, and to tell me that it's going to get better, there's nothing you can do. And I'm blessed with a bunch of people that are around me that, and again, I eliminated the toxic. So the ones that are around, they do. It's, what can I do? Well, you can't really do anything, but I appreciate that you're still inviting me to things and going out to things and doing things, and you treat me like a normal human being. And if I need you, you're there. But when you assume that just because if somebody has liver disease doesn't mean they know what I'm going through.
Right. Or
do I know what they're going through? Because they might be on a transplant list. I don't know what that's like. I'm not there. So it's part of the reason why I do this show is there's so many different avenues and different kinds. The biggest thing is to let people know that you're there and not assume that you know what they're feeling or going through. So it's being the bigger person and just asking, can I help? And if not, I'm here, Yeah. And whether you're the one that's sick or you're the one that's helping someone that's sick, knowing that the intention is good. And if it's not good, then you need to get rid of those people, because it's just going to be detrimental to your healing process, regardless of what you're going through, whether it's depression or alcoholism or illness or disease or abuse, regardless of what the aspect of that toxicity is, the longer you allow it to be in your life, the worse it's going to get.
You're absolutely right.
And it's not as hard, like I said, it's not as hard to get rid of. It's funny because when you make a decision to do something, I made the decision to quit smoking. And the next day, the sun rose. I made it without a cigarette. I didn't die. I thought I was gonna, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Same with my husband. He pissed and moaned for months about how horrible it was going to be, and it was going to be the worst thing on the face of the planet when he quit smoking, and how miserable he was going to be. That misery lasted about 2 days, and then he was fine. It was like dealing with a 3-year-old.
Yeah. I mean, it never really, I quit. I actually quit smoking back in 2001. Every great, like cigarettes, every great once in a while I'd have a cigar. And even now, when I smell a cigarette or a cigar, or
my husband and I
pipe,
love it.
Oh, it smells. It's the equivalent of a steak on a grill.
Right.
It smells wonderful, but I don't
Same.
want it. It's like I don't go. Oh, I gotta have it.
Same.
It doesn't happen. So, but it's. Yeah, it really is about your attitude and your own adjustment and how you decide to approach things too. And it's scary though. I know for a lot of people that changing the people in their lives is really actually the idea of that
Right.
is what's really more terrifying than the action of doing it.
Right. And it is. You don't, because you don't know anything else.
Yeah.
You don't know how to live without somebody. You don't know the life that you had, without them. But at the end of the day, it really is a huge detriment to everything about you when you have people that don't make an effort to care. And some people, unfortunately, it's not that they're intending to cause you harm. It's just their natural personality to be that way. Some people they can't relate because their perspective all of their life has been one way. I hate to bring up religion, but that's one of the things, with religion. If you've always been raised devout in a certain religion, you look at around the world and all the different religions where, women are less or children are less, or, wearing makeup is a sin, or having babies. If you've been brought up all your life to believe a certain way, it's not easy to just make the decision to switch and think or see from a different perspective.
It's not. And isn't it amazing that just as you said, all over the world, it's different all over
Right.
the world. And isn't it just so amazing that you happen to be just so fortunate enough to be born into the place where that religion is the correct thing?
Right.
Because obviously everything else is incorrect.
Right.
But it's when you shift your perspective and when you're trying to get rid of this toxicity, say that 10 times fast. I thought I'd use a fancy word, and it did not come out fancy at all. But when you decide to get rid of that stuff, it can be scary. It can be terrifying because just like it's all you've ever known.
Right.
But once you do that, once you cut that cord, the freedom you feel.
Right.
And I've heard this from many, many, many people. That freedom is amazing.
It really is. And a lot of times you don't even realize that the freedom is there until much, much later. And it's funny because a lot of the things that I've cut out of my life necessarily weren't intentional. It just happened that way. People don't want to hang out with you when you can't drink, or when you're eating healthier and you don't necessarily go out to dinner a lot, or, because it's funny, a lot of people's lives revolve around drinking. Every event that they do it revolves around drinking. You go to a bar, you go to a football party, you go to an event, you go to a concert, you go to anything. And a lot of it revolves around that. So it's not that I'm belittling people that drink, but when you can't, some people just don't want to be around that because they don't want to watch you not drink because they think something's wrong.
Well,
and if I'm not pregnant, then something must be wrong.
And Jim Gaffigan does an awesome bit about that.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't eat cake. Should I not eat cake?
Right.
It's ridiculous, but at the same time too, like like you said, I'm really not much of a drinker. It's not that I can't. It's just that I don't have that much of a taste for it. And as big a guy as I am, I'm actually a very lightweight. I can't tolerate like I'll become I become a really you talked about stupid earlier. I'm a stupid drunk.
You probably are like the giddy 8-year-old.
I
That's what I figured.
notch it down to 5-year-old. I'm an absolute idiotic drunk.
Oh, that's funny.
I
Well, see,
can't
now
go
we got
there.
Gary talking about Werther's Originals, Skittles, and Hershey's. Thanks a lot, Gary. Now I want a Snickers bar.
Yeah, lunch is coming up.
I know, right? Yeah, it's. I still got to figure out what I'm going to make when I get home. I got to go grocery shopping, which grocery shopping when you're hungry is the worst thing ever.
It is. And I know we're coming up on 10 minutes here left in the show, but I like what you have written here. You have nothing to prove. You've got nothing to prove.
So, and that's the thing is so many. And again, I'm not perfect, but I've been guilty of this where you feel that you have something to prove because the things that I used to be able to do, I can't anymore, especially with my spine. I can't. My brain says that I can. I went to run across the street one day and discovered I can't do that. I'm going to have to stay on this curb until that car passes because I'm going to get hit. But you feel that you have to prove something to people, that you can still do something, or that you're better, or that you're healed, or that, you especially if you're a people pleaser, it is extremely difficult because you always feel that you have something to prove for people, but you need to educate them because people are going to judge you regardless. I don't care who you are. I judge people all the time. You're human. I don't care who you are. You tell me that you don't judge people. You are a big fatty liar. You see someone that walks out in some crazy ass outfit and they go to Walmart and you're going to YouTube the crap out of that and watch it. And you're going to judge the crap out of them, calling them white trash or this, that, or the other, because that's what people do.
Yeah.
But you don't have anything to prove. And when you realize that and you just move on, it's freeing because it doesn't mean you're not going to think about it. But when you make that conscious effort to step back and go, yeah, I really don't care. I have the sphere of people that I care what they think about me because they're the ones that understand at least the most, and they try and they make the effort. Because all of my friends, they'll give me a glaring look when I eat something that I'm not supposed to eat.
Because they're watching out for you.
Right.
And they're like, hey.
Yeah, you're not supposed to have 17 Oreos, Mary.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have 17 Oreos.
And it's because they want you around as
right.
long as they can have you around. And so I get that.
But at the same time, they don't make exceptions for me, which is fantastic. Because it's, where are we going to go? And the only thing they ever say is, because they all know I'm low sodium, is, can you eat here? Yep, I can eat there. Sweet. That's where we're going then. It's not what can you eat? How can you eat? Are you going to be okay? Are you going to be, is it going to affect you? What can we do? This, that, and the other. It's just a simple, matter of fact, we care. Can you do this? Yep, yeah. I can do that. And it's gone. So when you eliminate that toxicity, you reduce the amount of judgment in your life, and you feel you don't have to prove yourself.
Not as easy a word to say.
I know, right? It's not as, see, now I sound like the drunk one because I can't say toxicity.
And all this is coffee. I know, right? That's all we got. We don't have anything else. We got no good stuff.
I know, right? That's just, the coffee's good. I brought my own creamer because it turns out I don't like coffee. I like creamer.
Yeah, this is a dry studio because of HR. So,
says the HR expert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So long as HR doesn't know about it. Right. Yeah.
Right. But when you find your support system, and it's funny because for me, my support system is my research, because to educate myself means I can educate others. And that's what I like to do. But some people do like those support groups. I can't stomach the pity party constant 24 hours a day. So the support group is just not my cup of tea, because I want to jump in there and be that keyboard warrior on Facebook that tells everybody that they're a bunch of freaking pansies and they need to suck it up, pull their skirt up, and just move on with life. That doesn't usually go over real well in a support group. But it's funny because for me to make the effort to try to go to a support group after my spinal lesion, and I remember the first 2 days was like, this is fantastic. But as it went on, like, this is the most horrible, depressing, wretched thing I've ever, like, if I ever had to go to an AA meeting, I would be screwed, because I'd be looking at these people like, no, just just choose not to, because to me, that's the obvious thing to do. But it's obvious, it's not that obvious to everybody else. And it's not that easy. When the way your brain works, something as simple as choosing to not have, a Twinkie or a cupcake or a cookie, or to eat something, you can find yourself literally wanting to throw a 4-year-old tantrum and kick and scream. Like every fiber of your being wants to throw a fit because you're forcing yourself to eat broccoli. It's not always the easiest thing for people. And I get that, but it's the choice to make the conscious decision to see that and try and make a change that makes the difference. Because eventually, if you keep making those choices to want to make a change, that's how I quit smoking. I wanted to quit smoking. I like cigarettes. I enjoyed cigarettes. I very much liked waking up and having a cup of coffee in the sunshine in the morning out on my patio and have a cigarette. And I still love the smell of them. But I decided I wanted to quit. And it was that every single time I had a cigarette, making the conscious decision to say, I'm going to find a way to do this and find a way to change. And it's the same with food. I still love fried food. I love fast food. I love pizza. I love all of those things. But making an effort every day to say, I'm going to find a way to change it, find a way to make my own pizza, find a way to not get a new liver because I don't want one. I wish that mine would fix itself, but it's not gonna.
I mean, there is the technology to grow your own. I don't know what that costs now.
But probably a lot more than I got. I don't know if I can barter for that one.
Hey, Steph, how you doing?
Hi, Stephanie.
So, yeah, I know that technology is out there because they can take your clones, your clones, your cells, and create a clone of a body part. They can grow that. I have no idea what the cost on that is. It's probably not something you just whip out your wallet and go, here's $10.
Right. Or something that's covered by your insurance and all that stuff. But
they probably don't have a grow your own liver kit out yet either. So.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's it. I don't think that's at Walmart. But again, the same with that. You got to do your research, because it's so funny to me how many times for complete different topic, but kind of similar references. I had someone come into my store the other day and says, well, it's on Google. And she shows me her phone. And I wanted to on Google. I wanted to shove the phone down her throat. Well, because Google says that I carry this item and it is this price, then everything that Google says is law.
Yeah.
Oh my good golly, no. And it is the same with any kind of illness that you have. If the first thing that you see is the first thing that you believe, you need to stamp idiot on your forehead.
It would help us all out.
Right. Yeah. It really, avoid all those stupid people in the line at the grocery store. But that's the thing is I've researched until I am blue in the face and literally can't keep my eyes open anymore to discover all of these different avenues and different medical documents and perspectives. And even when the medical doctors think that they're right, they're not necessarily right. And if something in your gut is telling them that they're not, then get a second opinion, do your research and find out, because it's, for instance, with my spine, I had 3 different specialists who all laughed when I said that I retain more water now that I have a spinal lesion than I did before. They said, well, it's not symptomatic of that. I don't care what you say it's symptomatic of.
It's what's happening.
The fact is that from this day when this happened and since then, this has been the case. And then my group of, people that have the same thing all say the same thing. So maybe you should check and see. But that's the thing is you got to do your own research to find out what's right for you, and always take that step back to make sure that just because you have that perspective doesn't necessarily mean that everybody has that perspective.
Right.
So you take your opportunity to educate others and give them insight into your perspective versus chastising them for not, placating your illness. And the only way your invisible illness is not going to be an invisible illness is if you let people know that you have it and what you have and make it not invisible. It doesn't mean you need to sit there and say, hey, give me the woe is me and I want you to snuggle me and cuddle me and make me feel better. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people who that's exactly what they want. Not my cup of tea. But People they can't do that one way or the other, or give you what you want, or even begin to think they can give you what you want unless you tell them what's going on.
Exactly. And now we've got just a little less than a minute left. So why don't you tell everybody how that they can find you, follow up with you, and interact more with My LoSo Lifestyle?
You can find me on my Facebook page at My LoSo Lifestyle. Obviously, you can find us on 216 The Net and Facebook and YouTube and the website, as well as my LoSo Lifestyle YouTube channel. And all of my recipes are slowly accumulating on my Facebook page at My LoSo Lifestyle. So for those of you that don't know, I actually had someone ask this, that My LoSo is MYLOSO, not LOWSO.
No, yeah.
Yeah, it's
LoSo.
it's more common in people that have low sodium than it is anywhere else. But apparently people are knowing more about it because of me, which is kind of nice.
Awesome. Well, we'll see everybody again next week, Thursday at 11 a.m. here on 216 The Net for My LoSo Lifestyle. And we are almost clear from being on the air. We're not actually clear.
Wow, we're like 30 seconds.
This is really hanging in here.
You know, it gives
amazing.
you perspective of how long radio is. And 30 seconds really can be in a lifetime.
It can be a lifetime here.
All right.
But so we're going to not give any dead air. Now we're clear from the radio. Woo! Everybody else out there on live
Here
Facebook
our basic
Live.
chatter for our radio station.
Yeah, there we go.
That's
so
awesome.
Thanks for hanging in there, everybody. We'll see you again next week on Facebook Live and, of course, on YouTube Live. We'll end this live stream now here, and we'll see you guys next week. So